Black lives matter. Black lives matter.
Yeah. Trying to live my life, putting purpose over profit. Too many fallen soldiers, too many slain prophets. Eyes on the prize, yeah, I gotta watch it. Agents amongst us, get your hand out my pocket.
Can I ask you a question?
Please.
So we're talking about mamas, and we've each had experiences where we had not our standard education approach in life and experience. So you got your birth mama, you got your TV mama. Who was your private school mama?
That's a good question. That's a great question. That's a great question. I think my mamas who were in like school. So I'll take you back to first. For me, it's all about different seasons in my life.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go from pre-K to college. And for me, really, pre-K, it was like my pre-K teachers. There's one woman by the name of Miss Braxton always held me down. I remember it too vividly. I think it was pre-K. I was 3 years old. And like she was just, I would see her on the bus, whatever. It was all love. Every time I saw her, I'm like, it's Miss Braxton, Miss Braxton. So that's one of them. Another one, her name is Ardella McClarity. And she was my fourth grade. Oh my goodness. She was my fourth grade and fifth grade teacher. Fierce. Sanctified woman of God, a Delta Sigma Theta. When it was time for us to clean up at the end of the day, she would play Kirk Franklin Stomp, and we start putting our chairs up.
God, that's amazing.
Every day, right? So, and then she gave me a book, actually, that's on my bookshelf. When I graduated from middle school, because I invited her, she came through, etc. Like she protected me, she poured into me. So she was another one of my moms. And then in college, it was my dean. It was my dean of, I guess, like my academic dean. Her name was Verdine Lee. So shout out to Verdine. And another Delta Sigma Theta. Them Deltas be running it.
Yeah, right.
My goodness, don't get me started. But she was like, listen, brother, if you want to get yourself together, because remember, I had a conversation with you earlier about how I was playing games freshman year, first semester. So she was like, all right, brother, you here for a reason. Let's make sure you stay here. And, she really sat me down. She's like, all right, these are some of the things you should be doing. What I need you to do, and this is something I share in part with my students now. What I need you to do is map out your whole day for an entire week. I mean, I want to know, what time do you wake up? What time do you hop in the shower? How long are you taking in that shower? What time are you going to breakfast? What time are you going to, because she wanted to know how I was using my time.
Wow.
And she was like, okay, and if you are eating, that's the same time you could be socializing. So make sure you schedule some dinner dates with your friends, because afterwards you got other stuff to do. Hours between 6 and this, there's nothing else happening, but you should be doing some studying, because there's no social activity until this time. When you want to go to a class with a book for the next class, so that way you can stay there and do some work and then go to, so
wow.
It really helped me map that out. I'm like, you know what, you're right. I mean, I could be better at this time management thing. I could. So like, I think about those people who've challenged me, those folks who have like really been a cheerleader for me, and those who have really been like mothers for me. So yeah, I would say those folks. Yeah. Wow. That's a good
that note about just, I mean, I felt the power of all those people talked about. One of them, playing the music at the end, like, come on, as you start the kids, like, that's like, I still have some of those songs that I had Miss Ryan in fourth grade, and she would play these songs, and you feel it, it. But that's a great one. And then that second woman you mentioned, or the last woman you mentioned rather, tell me her name, say her name again.
Verdine Lee.
Them Lees, we don't play. The fact that she said, take a book with you for your next class to your first class, so you can work between class, like that is some practical, beautiful, tremendous advice. Think about all the time, I gotta go back and get my book.
Yep. Stop wasting time.
Exactly, that's amazing. That's a lesson. And when you start practicing that and you grow, that's like the root of motherhood. That's beautiful.
My goodness. So, thank you for that question, because, I often think about, and maybe it's because, I grew up with a mother. So I often think about the people who were like the stand-in fathers in a lot of different ways. Like I think about those folks. I don't often think about those women who were so dynamic and played an instrumental role in my life. So I appreciate that question so much. because yeah, definitely, there's so many folks that I just leaned on. Even if it's like, for example, like, and I want to know from you too, but just for example, Miss Inez from my old apartment building. Like all the time, she'd be outside watching the block. You know, one of the matriarchs of the block. You know, like the block captain. Every time she see me, my man, give me 5. How's it going, Mick? Everything good? You good? How's school? Like always looking out for me, making sure no harm comes my way. Just beautiful. There's so many people that I could keep naming. So I really do appreciate that question.
Yeah. Oh, it's my pleasure, man. Because you know, we, as I said in the beginning, we're not standard kids. It takes a whole lot of hands to reach in and make it happen for us. You know, if I can answer it.
Yes, please.
I had mine was multifaceted also. It's kind of funny because as I was asking, I was like, oh, who's mine? And if you spoke, I realized, oh, what? It's not a one, it's a group. And I mentioned one from high school, Charlotte Baker. Talked about her a while ago, who just, you know, just really just taught me how to think and be. And then there's another woman, and it's funny because have you seen the Michelle Obama Becoming documentary? Right? Right? I felt like it was a hug we all needed.
Yes, it came perfect time. Perfect.
Right. A hug we all needed. And so in that, one of the interviews that happened with her is by a woman named Elizabeth Alexander. She has a little short, curly, reddish hair. That's not how hair normally looks to me. She was my 11th grade English teacher. She also read the poem at Obama's first inauguration. She's now president of the Carnegie Mellon Foundation. And she's just this dynamic, intense woman. She was earning her PhD when I was in high school. She was back teaching at my high school just by chance, like a little job teaching essential English. And she taught African-American poetry beyond the blues. And I still have on my shelf, I should have had it out on my shelf, Dudley Randall's The Black Poets.
Wow.
Collection of poems. Oh my gosh. And I just read that, I was like, this is me. And my favorite one in there is one by Gwendolyn Brooks. My mother's name is Gwendolyn, and the poem is called André.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
I the first time I read that, I was like, what is this? I didn't know who Gwendolyn Brooks was, and all I saw was like a poem called about André, and it's like, my son, I love you. And I was like, what? I'm supposed to be here, right now, in this moment. Like, beautiful, powerful. So Elizabeth, now what she did that was motherly to me, she sat me down during the school year, because I was very popular and getting by and doing fine and doing okay. And she said, check it out. I know you're really popular, you have a lot of friends, and you're doing well here and there, but you can't write, boy. You're not a good writer. And I was like, dang, okay.
Tell it to you straight, right?
Right, exactly. And I was like, all right. And so she said, if you're willing to work with me this summer, we can work this summer. So I met her downtown on UPenn campus, and we would meet like a couple times a week. And we read Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man, the introduction 5 times. And I had to construct a 5-page essay around a question that I would develop each time. You know, that introduction is intense, and to read it again and again and again and again when you're in high school and not trying to figure it all out, and then to write. I remember the first time I handed her paper, it was the summer. I was like, boom, this is she had to print stuff out and hand it in. I was like, boom, there you go. And she goes, we're gonna sit and edit this now. And I was like, edit it? I'm like, I did it, it's done. But she sat me down and we spent the whole summer just going through and learning how to write. And I still have some of the skills and approaches she taught me, you know.
That's beautiful.
We're so strong in it. So that's who I'll call out as a main one. But I like you, I could list a ton of them. Like, we're so fortunate. We're so lucky and fortunate. We wouldn't be standing here, being here without those forces. And we need to practice that appreciation more often than we do.
Absolutely. And I think it's no coincidence, at least for me, I know all the women that I named were educators. And they were in my trajectory throughout my education. And, you know, all these folks who poured into me, that's exactly why I do what I do in terms of being in this space. Because I say it's a vocation, it's a calling. There's other things I want to do. There's other things I can be doing. There's other things I would pay more. But this is a vocation. It is a calling, and I want to pay it forward the way that I best know how, and that's actually to be of service to someone else.
I love that. That's great. That's great. Yeah, that's we're trained. I was just talking with a kid I mentor, and this kid I met when he was in high school, and he's talking about all that's happening in the world, and he's just, if he's 26 now, maybe 27, good schools, done great stuff, out in Hollywood, trying to be a writer. Is a writer, is writing and directing and making stuff. But he's the beginning of his career, and he was saying with the murder of Ahmad this week, with the Supreme Court decision to not follow through with the cases with Christie, with Michael Flynn being released. He's like, I don't understand. Yeah, right, exactly. He's like, I don't understand. What's going on? When are people going to wake up and change? And he said, like, am I doing enough? And I said, by saying that you get this and you acknowledge this, that's enough right there. Because you're at the beginning of all of this. And you're not going to fix and solve it all, but how can you use your work, your art, your life, your experience to make a difference and matter? And he's a great kid. Like, he really got to a space. Like, he's not all in the glitz and glamour. He's really educated, really smart, really committed to trying to turn things around and change it. And it was so powerful, just a text exchange early this morning. And he's in California, texting me at like 10 a.m. I was like, it's really early out there, boy. Your age don't be up this early, But he's just in it, just saying, like, I just can't believe all this is happening, and I want to make sure that my artwork is enough to make a difference and have some effect out there, because this world has to change. It's just so unbelievable. And it's that moment, we talked about innocence early on. It hurts to see young people you mentor go like, oh, this is how the world really is. I can only imagine what it's like for a mother or a father with their child they've known from birth. And to have to go through all those moments. This is just one little teeny tiny moment for me with someone that I'm mentoring, that's like, you're seeing them face the harsh realities of existence, and you're trying to encourage them and keep going and keep pushing and keep moving forward and keep making a difference, and at the same time you want to believe it, but it's like, this stuff that happened a year ago. This stuff is happening right now, and it doesn't make any sense, and it's illogical, but people are going to be people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad he has someone like you to give that wisdom and impart that to him, because again, he'll pay it forward as well, and that's why we do what we do. That's why we do what we do, just to try to plant a seed. Hopefully, something waters it, and then we can see the growth, or live long enough to see the growth of that person, that individual, that institution. So yeah.
That's great.
So I have a question for you.
All right.
But do you have another one?
No, go for it.
Okay. So this is something that I have evolved in my thought, as it pertains to this question I'm about to ask you. So you think about our situations, you think about other people's situations. You have folks who are raised by single parents, whether it be a single mom or a single father, right? And you think about when Mother's Day comes around for a single father, does a child give them a Mother's Day card? When Father's Day comes around for a single mother, does a child give them a Father's Day card? So I wanted to know if you had any thought on that, any opinion, if you have any experience having to navigate that. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I was raised by a single mother, and if I could, remember I was a kid, but when I did remember to do it, or I could do it, or had like a little bit of money to get it, I'd always get her like a Father's Day card, and like giggle about like, Happy Father's Day, because I think it's a nice gesture, because she was serving us both in the best way she knew how, and it also, I often found myself sad around Father's Day, just like, here. I spent a lot of time looking and wanting and craving, that figure, and thinking I was missing out on opportunities, and I wasn't being shaped to be a proper man, all that stuff that, you hear on TV or hear people say. So I had a lot of longing. And so I think that part of my satiating that longing and desire was to put the energy into, like, my mother is like my father. She goes to work every day. She's taking care. She brings it in. She disciplines, she loves, she feeds, all the things that are right there. She did everything. So yeah, I like the sentiment. And for vice versa, for her child to give a dad or mom's day celebration, yeah, why not?
Hmm.
It's honoring the energy of the experience of the day. So I'm with it. I'm all with it. I think it's a beautiful gesture.
Hmm.
How about you? What do you think?
I was with you 100%. I was. I was with you 100% in terms of, even so much so I would do the same thing on Father's Day. I think my sisters and I would be like, oh, happy Father's Day. Oh, what you want to eat? We're going to take care of you,
Mm.
in addition to Mother's Day, of course. As I got older, though, as I started to like really trouble the whole notion of what that means. And I felt like by me doing that, I I was not dealing with that void, or I
Mm.
was not dealing with the lack of, yes, you have provided as both a mother and a father, but quite frankly, there are certain things as a mother that she can't, nor should she have to provide as a father would. So I tried to like wrestle with all those things and see, like, moving forward, like, am I going to continue this tradition? No, I'm going to celebrate my mother for the dynamic person that she is,
Mm.
with no label attached to it other than that you're my mother. And in spite of you being a single mom, you were able to provide above and beyond what you should have had to. So I started to see it more so as that. And, I don't think there's anything wrong with folks lifting up, their single parent on both days. But I do think it's not realistic in a sense. In the sense, it's like we have to call to the carpet what's actually happening. And I think by doing that, it doesn't say it's okay,
Mhm.
and it doesn't normalize it, but it feels like we're not really wrestling with what actually happened.
Mhm.
And not really trying to think about laying the foundation or the blueprint for the future of how these things don't necessarily have to happen again. So I know I think I've evolved over that in the sense of, and I don't want to say evolved in the sense of I'm going in the right way. I'm just saying in terms of my thoughts have changed on that matter for a number of different reasons, but I think it's mainly because of those that I just mentioned.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. That makes a lot of sense. I haven't. I may have potentially thought about it, but I haven't like thought about it that extensively. And um, I spend a lot of time trying to fill voids and replace. And oftentimes, it's better to deal with the actual situation than to replace. That doesn't mean not moving on, but that's how you move through,
Mm-hmm.
by actually dealing with it and confronting. Um, yeah, well, this is Father's Day is going to be an old trip. Conversation, the two of us, man, oh man, that's going to be one. What is that? Is that this year?
It's June something, right? I think.
I don't
Think
even
it's June.
know. I don't
It's
even
usually
know.
like a month, nearly a month after Mother's Day, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Something like
There's never been one that I've been like, oh, Father's Day is coming. Like,
that.
never been one to prep for it. So I have to think about those things.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's the real piece because I'll never forget. Like I told you, my evolution in terms of like me starting to come into a relationship with my father. I think I mentioned a little bit more so about that in our first
You
time.
touched on it. You touched on it.
Okay,
You
okay.
touched on it. I'm saying that because you've touched on it a few times. That's why I've been like, our Father's Day or something. Whenever you're ready, I'm
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah, yeah. For sure, for sure. Father's Day, we'll definitely get after it. And again, and my father knows this in particular, and a lot of credit goes to my wife, for like making me lean into it.
Mhm.
But also, I think a lot of credit goes to my boy Ty. He was like, "Listen, I didn't have the best relationship with my father either. My father was this, that, and the third. Sometimes he wasn't there, etc. Yada yada yada. But the reason why despite all the stuff that he did that he shouldn't have done, despite all these things that I wish I had that I was not given, knowing my father helps me make sense of who I am."
Oh yeah, completely.
And because he said that, I'm like, all right, I think maybe you guys, yeah, all right, you guys, sure, I'll take a look. All right, makes sense. So just, like begrudgingly, like, all right, I'll explore it. I'll be open. So yeah, it's definitely been a journey.
Well, I like that your life partner, your wife, was influential and helped you make that path and journey. That sounds I'm sure that's not easy, and that's beautiful. It's just to be able to see you and maybe know there's something you need that you don't even know you need, you know, and to it's a lot to step up and say, hey, I think you should pursue this. Because it's like you don't know that part of my life. You know,
And,
you don't know what it was like for me.
you've met Amanda, so you already know the deal. You know, she about that life. She be like, do it.
Right, exactly. That's great. I love Amanda. She's good stuff.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Oh, please. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
Of course. Yeah, it'll be more. There'll definitely be more, particularly like we got to fill up the files day one.
Hey. I'll try and do that. I got stories. I got stories. It's interesting. I called, and maybe this will be it's close to the end. And this is another part, maybe even another question for like wildest names. But I have an aunt, and she is named Queen Esther. That's on her birth certificate. That is her name. She was born and named that by my grandmother Eugenia Lee.
That's a powerful name.
I know, right? She's a powerful little lady. She's powerful. I was just talking to her the other day, and she's my father's sister, and we call her Aunt Dink. I don't know where that comes from. No one else seems to know it either, but Queen Esther down to Aunt Dink. But we just had a good conversation, and it was a matter of, as I talked to her, it was ways of connecting with parts of my family I've never really been deeply connected with, And it's a matter, I was like, you know what? It doesn't hurt to call her and let her talk and listen to her and check in. She's 80 something now, down in Atlanta doing the thing. She told me a funny story. She's like, yeah, I put my mask on, but I messed up. I still haven't. I put my lipstick on before I put my mask on. She's like, I'm going outside. I put on lipstick. That's what I do. But then I was like, oh, this is no good. Isn't that adorable?
That's awesome. That is awesome.
So great. Yeah, I share that just in my closing part to say that family, no matter what it is, no matter how you design it, is really important. And it may not be what you imagine it's going to be, but if you open your eyes and sometimes look through the pain and look through the fear and the potential hurt, you might see more than you even imagine is there.
100%. And I think about a number of different things. I think about a few things such as I'm 32. I'll be 33 next year. My mother had...
Jesus year.
What'd you say?
Jesus year.
Yes. Listen, because you said that, it's hilarious you said that, because when I turned 30, my body, my heart, my soul felt like these were going to be 3 of the most dynamic, most important years of my life.
It's true.
I'm calling these my Jesus years. That's exactly what I said. And I'm like, I got to get after it. I have to get after it. So I felt like a sense of urgency and immediacy to like start to build a legacy, again, be relevant, and make sure that I'm laying the proper foundation. And I say all that to say is because I think about, my mother. And my mother had me when she was 33. I don't have any kids yet. I was my mother's 4th child. So I think about that, right? And then when you start to think about growing up, and you start to think about, how this was and how that was and why this was and why that was. And it's like, fam, you 32 with no kids. Your mom had 4 when she was 33. Pump your brakes, right? Thinking about those things. And then when I think about this moment right now too, I also think about how in this moment, COVID-19, all these realities that are coming with it, I don't know if this is something that's happening with you, but I'm seeing it a little bit more so with myself too, is that even if I'm not trying to do it, family is coming together. Family's being healed. Because at the end of the day, when you take away all the idols, such as sports, entertainment, etc., family is all we got. And that's how it's supposed to be. And like you said in one of our earlier sessions, there's a lot of stuff that was beat out of us in slavery, right? And part of it was actually a family structure and dynamic where the family was ripped apart. So when you think about us putting those pieces back together, when you think about us healing, sometimes we need to unplug from certain spaces and certain people in order for us to get back to basics, which is being a family to begin with.
Yeah, to amplify that point, that it's so strong that people knew in order to conquer a people, they had to destroy it. It's amazing, right? Well, so like you said, it's something else to rebuild, and that's a beautiful journey to rebuild, refashion, remake. Because it never went away. You can't break the bond.
Mm.
You can't break the bond.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. How about we do a final toast to rebuilding, to rebirth, and to reimagining. Please pour a little more. To reimagining the best of what is yet to come, and being a part of the best that is yet to come. So to you, sir, to your beautiful mother and her legacy, to all the mothers out there, just to life and to love. So just a little cheers.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Of course.
Ooh, that's good. This is great, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, great way to spend Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Reflecting, sharing stories, sharing love. Appreciate it as always.
Remembering and enjoying.
Yes, sir.
And good people. Good people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Excellent.
So until next time, Brown Juice Barbershop.
Brown Juice Barbershop.
We'll holla. We'll catch y'all later. Peace.